According to United States News, 2 in 3 teens in the United States do not know how to change the tire on their car. 42% of the people in this classroom right now do not know how to change a tire on their car. Many people get stuck on the side of the road because they don't know how to change a tire on their car, and they don't have time to call people or their phone is dead. It is important for everyone to know how to change a tire on their vehicle so that way they can change it when they need to. My dad was a car mechanic for many, many years when I was growing up. My brother Michael is also a very educated man in the mechanic field. I've had my fair share of flat tires, and so today I want to share the knowledge that I have learned from my brother and from my dad both of how to change a tire on your car. So maybe I can help you in the future save some time and some money when you get stuck on the side of the road and you don't have time to call anybody. So let's get started by finding the spare tire in your car. There are many different makes and models of vehicles, and the spare tire is located in many different locations depending on what type of car you have. On some vehicles, the spare tire could be located on the back of the vehicle, which mine is not. Mine is actually located underneath of my vehicle, and to get to it, I have to open up the trunk. And there's a little slot here. This will pull out the jack that the car's issue. I'll pull this out. And there's a little cap right here that has a little tire on it. Pull this up and put the lug nut wrench on it, and it will slowly lower my tire from underneath of my vehicle. Now that we found our spare tire, we're going to start changing the tire on the car. So what I've done here is I put the jack underneath of the vehicle, and I have securely placed it where it has told me to put it from the car manual. I have using my lug nut wrench that connects into the jack to turn the thing to the right to lift the tire in the car up off of the ground. Now that we've got the car risen up, we're going to move over to the lug nuts on the flat tire. We're going to loosen all of them. Sometimes these things are tight. I've broken them loose for this video, so that way it saves me a lot of time. So you might have to occasionally jump up on the lug nut wrench to get these things loose. So now that I have the 5 lug nuts out, I'm going to move them off to the side so that way they do not get lost. I'm going to grab the tire, just pull the tire off and move it out of your way. Now we're going to walk back and get the spare. Now that we've got the spare, we got to line up the holes and push the tire all the way back against the wheel hub or the back of the wheel. Now that we've got this on, we can put the lug nuts back on. I tend to put them on with my finger to start with. Now that we've got all of them tightened, we're going to tighten them in a star pattern. So I'm going to start up here at the top and tighten this one. I'm going to come down here and tighten this one. The reason why you want to tighten the lug nuts in a star pattern is to keep the wheel on the back of the wheel hub. So that way it's nice and tight. And so that way your tire is actually on straight and it's not crooked, which could end up causing you an accident if you have your wheel on crooked driving down the road. When you're tightening these, you want to make sure that they're tight enough that they're not going to fall off, but you also want to make sure that they're loose enough that you'll be able to get them off to put on a new tire after you get back to a location where you can get a new tire rather than just your spare. So now we've got the spare put on here. So we're down to some of the last steps here. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you have all these things clear. I put these underneath of the car inside my garage so that way the car wouldn't fall or whatever. Out on the road, you're not going to have that nice safety feature, so you're just going to have to deal with it. But since I'm at home, I figured I would be safe and make sure that the car would not fall on me while I was doing this project. So now that I have the wheel on nice and secure, I'm going to double check to make sure all my lug nuts are tight. Again, make sure you're tightening in the star pattern and checking all of these in the star pattern. Now that we have spare tire on, we can finally lower our jack. Unfortunately, when you're on the road, this thing takes forever to go back down to the ground. So now that I've got the car put back on the ground, I can pull the jack out from underneath of the car. And now I am ready to clean up my mess and make sure that everything I have is back in the vehicle. So as you can see, the spare tire is put on the vehicle and it is ready to drive. We are ready to drive the vehicle. So now to conclude my speech, double check to make sure that all of your lug nuts are tight before you start driving down the road. The last thing you want to do is have lug nuts fall off of your tire while you're driving down the road and end up causing an accident because your tire is not on straight and it causes you to lose control of the car. So you want to double check before, again, just to make sure that everything is tight and make sure that the tire is not going to fall off or lug nuts are not going to fall off while you're driving down the road to get to a destination where you can get a new tire put on the car. Be sure you have everything that you had back in your vehicle, so make sure you put the old flat tire, the jack, and the lug nut wrench back inside of the vehicle so that way you have them and that way you're not littering on the side of the road. Now that you've seen these steps, you should be able to change a tire on your vehicle. I would start this process like trying it at home so that way you have someone around to help you, so that way you can kind of get to some experience before you may have to change it out on the road. I hope that never happens to anyone, but you know, things happen sometimes. So it would be better for you to start trying this at home and getting some practice in before you actually get too far from home and have to call someone to come help you change a tire on your car. And I hope that today I have given you the knowledge to change a tire on your car, so that way when you go to college and you don't really have anyone to call to come help you, you can do this yourself and end up saving time waiting for somebody to come help you and money, because you know all those car companies, all those truck companies want a lot of money for coming out to help you. So hope now you can change your tire, and I hope that I can help you sometime in the future.